Okay, good afternoon, Year 6. We're going to have a look at our science lesson now, and we're looking at evolution and natural selection. So I've popped up some questions here. What is evolution and what is natural selection? Has anybody come across these terms before? And obviously we can't share in the same way, but maybe jot down some ideas if you've got an idea of what these might mean. So I've put a couple of links here. These are both videos that tell you in much more detail what evolution is and what natural selection is. So I would suggest you stop the PowerPoint now and you look at the links that I've sent you all the way through to give you a bit of an understanding about what we're talking about. So in the videos it mentions someone called Darwin, and he was somebody who came up with the theory of evolution. And a lot of this was based on his discoveries on the Galapagos Islands, and it was based on some observations he made in birds, specifically finches. So the Galapagos finch parents reproduced and created offspring, so they had baby birds. They were all slightly different and unique, so you can see they've got slightly different feathers, slightly different shapes and sizes and colourings, different claws and different beaks. When bad weather affected plant growth on one of the islands on the Galapagos, there were fewer seeds for the birds to eat. The offspring had to eat larger seeds than they would normally have had in order to survive. Only the offspring, who had the larger beaks, could break open and eat the larger seeds. Therefore, these babies survived and the other, smaller beaked birds died. The Galapagos finches with large beaks reproduced, so they had their own baby birds and had offspring. Most of these inherited the large beaks, and so Galapagos finch species started to evolve. They started to change to suit the place that they lived in. This is an example of how animals and plants adapt to their changing environment, and this process is called natural selection. So I've put another video here that tells you a little bit more about Darwin and his finches. Again, I would suggest you pop the link into your browser now and have a watch of that. But these adaptations aren't limited to the Galapagos Islands. They occur all over the planet. And our topic, which is Frozen Kingdom now, looks at some of the most hostile and harsh conditions on Earth, the polar regions. So we need to have a think about what animals would need to survive in this extreme environment. We've got a clip here that shows you a little bit more about what it's like to live in the polar regions, and we'll give you a bit of info on how some of the animals survive there. So here we've got two creatures. We've got the polar bear and we've got the walrus. And on the next two slides, we've put some information about how they have adapted, how their bodies and their behaviours have changed to suit the environment they live in. So here we've got the polar bears have wide, large paws. They have very thick fur. They've got a snowy white coat. They've got a layer of fat to keep them warm. Nostrils that can close but also have a great sense of smell. Black skin to absorb heat from sunlight. And here with the walrus, they've got a very thick layer of fat called blubber. They've got muscles in their throat that close when they dive in water. They've got giant tusks and they are able to go a long time with oxygen. So, now that you've got a little bit of understanding about how some of these creatures have adapted, you've got some research that's been popped on Dojo about different polar creatures and a couple of the plants that live there as well. Your task is to use the research to discover the adaptations that each of these animals or plants has got that's helped them to survive in their environment. Once you've done that, if you are interested and you want to have an extension, you could research the adaptations of any other animal of your choice. It doesn't have to be a polar creature. It could be a giraffe, penguin, it could be a cactus if you want to do a plant. Camels are another very interesting one. And as per usual, Year 6, once you've filled in your information on the table, please send your work through to me, Mr. Pugh or Miss Alexander. Thank you.